going to go to my notes. So good morning, everyone. We are going to chat. The topic today will be on business growth. So really, just to explain Bricks and Balloons, it's a networking opportunity for our member businesses. Happens between 8:30 and 9, usually on the first Thursday of the month, but because of summer, it's happened the second Thursday. But we really dive into business related conversations that relate to what holds you back and supports you getting ahead. We're able to learn and grow from others' experiences while identifying new connections in Lennox and Addington. So each month will be a specific topic. And like I said, this month will be focused on business growth. So I have a series of questions. I estimated roughly 2 to 3 minutes per question, but happy to talk further if something is a real desire to you. But let's get started with the first question. And it simply is, why is business growth important?
Well, I think, I kind of always look at growth as an important part. I think you're always, whether they're like people moving or just like new businesses, people trying new businesses out, you're always kind of losing, parts of your client base all the time. So if you're not working on growth, you're never going to kind of increase business. But I mean, a lot of businesses make the mistake kind of like, oh, we're too busy, we're going to stop marketing, we're going to stop growing. But they don't realize eventually you're going to lose some of that client base. And if you're not at least marketing enough to replace that, like you'll eventually see a downturn in business. And unfortunately that can happen really quick sometimes for businesses where they don't see it kind of sneaking up, where they've kind of been lackadaisical on their outreach and networking and promotion. And all of a sudden, sales are good. And then we're down 30%. We don't know why. And then getting back up can take 6 months to a year to kind of get recoup even where you lost to. So I think always kind of working on growth a little bit, even if you are really busy, is really important. So.
Agreed. I remember one of our members new to town. They had moved from outside of Toronto, started a business here. And I remember after their first year with the chamber, they indicated they didn't want to renew. And I had asked them why, and they said, because we have enough clients.
Yeah.
And I thought that may not be the best answer, because like you said, you are continuously maybe having people jump from business to business. Some may pass along, some may move. There might be different variables that affect your clients continuing to come in, and really you need to continue to look at that growth no matter where you are in your business.
Someone told me a stat once with clients, and I'm sure, I don't know how true it is or whatever, I'm sure it has some merit to it, is that a third of your clients will be loyal, a third will stay as long as customer service is good and you kind of treat them well all the time, but a third will just leave for anything. Any shiny object they'll be gone to the next business type of thing. So it's really kind of important to know that that third is very fickle all the time. Like you kind of have it can just disappear at any point. So or 2/3 if you're not running a business well. So.
And I feel like this topic is perfect for both of you. Do you want to introduce yourselves, your name and your companies? Because I think this topic is actually perfect for you two as business mentors.
Yeah, you got it, Rick. I feel like I'm owning the thing here. I always talk too much. So.
Okay, I'm Rick Frasso. I own several businesses. There is something I want to say about business growth. I don't think I need to name all the businesses, but we do run the gamut in the IT industry. My first business started 20 years ago, and my last started last September. So we're continually evolving, and I'll let David go next.
Same thing with Rick. We have 3 service-based businesses between my wife and I, and I feel it's the same thing. Like we're always, our big thing is always, staffing clients. Is like, kind of keeping staff levels up and keeping client levels going and so like that. So it's always kind of a balancing act. That's a lot of what we do at this point. But, we're always kind of trying to measure that, what a proper growth rate is. And with our cleaning business, like we're very busy all the time. We have new clients, 2-3 day approaching us. So we've really throttled back advertising to pretty much nothing now besides just referrals and word of mouth. But you know, we're always kind of looking at that to make sure we're keeping staff filled and clients filled. It's always a balancing act, but we always want to see a little bit of growth. You know what I mean? We don't, not looking for 20, 30% jumps a year, but like, you know, a good 5, 10% growth a year is always nice to see. No matter where you're at, even after 10 years of doing something, you always want to see a little bit of growth. And, you know, just helps with rising expenses and stuff like that too. I don't think you can really plateauing or thinking you've arrived ever in business, I think is really not a good path to go down. Even if you feel really busy today, it's just time to look at like your business model and your systems, your processes, and just kind of figure out like what's next and how you can kind of free up time and maybe take on more clients or how you can grow as a business. So, which brings up a whole other point of like growth plateaus are really difficult for businesses. You know, going from that 1 employee to 2 employees is a real challenge, and then even going from the 5 employees to 10 employees, and the 10 to 20, and the 20 plus. You know, there's a whole bunch of like different stages of growth in that, which also kind of comes with, you know, business growth as well. Like it's, you know, there's a lot of challenges that, and a lot of people, you know, really aren't aware. Like it's like, you know, sometimes success is one of the biggest challenges in business. Like when you start becoming more successful. So,
yeah. I think David, you answered some of the opportunities, but what are some drivers that you have used to grow, whether it's technology, people, processes, addressing a problem? What are some of the drivers that you have used to grow in your business?
For us, a big, and it's kind of, it'll sound like a weird one, but from our perspective, a big driver for us is lack of turnover. That's like our main focus to grow is focusing on keeping staff happy and not having turnover. And I don't think we'd be at where we're at today without that. It's actually our biggest concern, our kind of start to everything is like keeping turnover low and keeping staff happy is like really what allows us to grow.
I love that.
I think marketing, honestly, like for us is very easy. We have a really good marketing kind of strategy down, like how to grow a business. But I think if you're constantly bleeding out team members and your morale's down, I just think focusing on growth is almost the wrong thing. Like it's like, you know, it's
That's
trying
a great
to
answer.
with a boat with holes in it. So, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Rick?
I'd like to comment on how business growth affected me personally. A lot of the answers I think, are kind of obvious, but one of my great joys from business growth has been the very simple thing of giving people jobs. We have grown a lot over the years, and giving people the opportunity for good employment, long-term employment. And business growth has affected me in another way. My personal growth. I've met an awful lot of people by expanding the businesses. I've gotten into a lot of community work, which again has helped me grow personally. And of course, all this results in return on investment on your time. That's good for the business, but also I think your personal growth is a big factor also.
Yeah, I was going to say internally and externally, that was one of the other questions. What does it mean for business growth, both internally and externally? And definitely internally could be that personal growth. But any differences between the two for you guys in terms of your business?
No, I agree completely with like providing jobs amazing. Like 4 years ago, we really had no employees, or 5 years ago, we had no employees, and by the end of this year, I hope we're going to employ probably 50 people between all our businesses, which is like, I never thought we'd be at that point even now. But to provide like good living wage jobs for people in the community, I think is kind of one of our biggest achievements. Like someone asked us the other day, like why we're in the cleaning and massage business. I said, we're really not in either one of those businesses. I said, we're in the providing good jobs business, but in businesses with high margin is like, and then, high margin allows you to make staff happier. So that's why we chose those businesses. It had nothing to do with, I'm not passionate about the cleaning industry, passionate about providing good services and providing good jobs. So it's like, that allows us to do it. So.
Yeah. What about you, Rick? Internal versus
Megan?
External?
Oh, that was the question. Repeat the question again, please.
Internal business growth versus external business growth. Is there any comments on that?
Just that I think they go they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunities are great for both internal and external, and I believe there's a lot of crossover, a lot of tie-ins. I think everything just melts together. I've never actually thought of it that way.
I don't think you get one without the other, though. Like, I think like where you hear employees really like concerned about their jobs and like where they're like their workplace is businesses that have kind of grown externally without growing internally. Is like where they're, you know, things are overwhelmed and like systems are out of control and equipment's not working, and that's all like just businesses growing so fast without, you know, like internally growing. So
yeah, awesome, thank you. The next question is, how do you measure business success or business growth? Sorry, how do you measure business growth, or do you at all? Morning, Lisa.
Oh, we definitely do.
Morning.
Morning, Lisa. We have a few, like we have definitely some measurements. We use, I mean, like overall margin is important. I feel for our growth, like we kind of look at that number, you know, number of services provided, a month we measure, but, you know, profitability is a big one. That's like, you know, how you really measure growth as a company. But if you're going for us, like turnover, that's like really how we measure, you know, like we have turnover, we really kind of look at like why it happened, how was it preventable, you know, because it's, again, I don't feel you really grow if you're losing people.
One thing I noticed about how to measure business growth is as your business grows, I find more opportunities present themselves, even to the fact that sometimes people come to you, clients come to you just because you know, you're bigger, you're growing. They hear about you, or they seen you networking. That I think helps fuel growth, and I think that's how we measure. You know, as you grow, these other opportunities present themselves, and I got lots of stories. We'll get into it now, but yeah, I think that's would be my answer to that.
Thanks, Lisa. Just to catch you up, the topic today is on business growth, and so we've discussed what is business growth, how do you measure it, what are some drivers in business growth. So there are some really great answers to those questions. We'll continue to ask a few more before we wrap up for today. What are some barriers to business growth? Lack of strategy, customer ignorance, people, processes. So kind of the revert of what we talked about earlier, but are there any barriers that you have faced or you know of that affect business growth?
I think for, like in my experience, it's honestly systems and time management are the two biggest ones I think people struggle with growth. Is just how to, you know, it's easy to manage 10 clients. It's harder to manage 300. You know, like you do 10 with an Excel sheet, 300 in some of the system. And like a lot of people struggle with finding what works for that, like what softwares work, what processes work, you know, how to manage their time, you know, stuff like that. But like, I think that's a big blockade is like how to manage success. Tends to be like a stopper to success for people, so we're growth.
Lisa, what do you see from your point of view with businesses? Any barriers?
I definitely see a lot of businesses who have a revolving door of staff, and you know that has to play a role.
Yeah, we definitely talked about internal and external, and the fact that they really mesh together, and having good internal, exactly what David had said earlier, people and processes makes a huge difference externally as well. Rick, what about you? Any barriers?
Like employers out there that like have job ads up 24/7, they never ever stop recruiting. So, you know, and I from experience, I know that can happen sometimes because you're growing all the time, which also like isn't a great perception externally sometimes. But yeah, there's ones that just aren't growing. They're a fixed business kind of, and like they just recruit 12 months a year because they're just, you know, their turnover is 300%. So.
I would like to agree with Lisa about revolving staff. The costs are enormous.
Yeah.
From actually, losing your training time and then having to train a new person. An awful lot of costs involved in that. And that's why I think it's very important for businesses to go that extra little step for their employees. We always try to think of something out of the box, something surprising, just to make coming to work in the morning a little bit more enjoyable. And that's definitely going to have results.
Awesome. Okay. Next is, what are your thoughts on social media and growth? What do you use for your business and why?
I would say I wasn't a big believer really in social media until maybe this year. I tried it previously and had a lot of success. I can tell you this wellness center, I think 80% of our clients right now are coming from social media, which has been really great. I'm a big believer in Google AdWords. I think are really like where it's at for business growth. You can, and only for return on investment, like numbers. If you just look at what you get from a Google AdWord compared to any other type of advertising, the return on investment is tenfold sometimes compared to like a radio or a magazine or a sign or a billboard. Now I've done all those things last month as well, but just from working with clients and doing it myself, I just like the Google AdWords really, if you had another $300 to throw into advertising between place social media posts and Google AdWords is really, for small businesses or even medium businesses, is really no better use of your money. It's where people are looking for businesses. Like, when was the last time you went and found a plumber anywhere but Google? Or word of mouth, which is a word of mouth and referrals are completely separate things because they're really hard to those are uncontrollable marketing things. You know what I mean? Like, there's really no way to do that beyond running a good business and treating your clients well, and it just kind of comes with time. So I think I do believe social media is important, and those targeted ads in particular. The people that follow you know about you. It's the people that don't that are important. So but even just reminding people you're there all the time.
And I personally believed in social media years and years ago. And that's why we've evolved into establishing a marketing company and then a website company, because we saw the opportunities there for other businesses. And basically, in a nutshell, to me, social media just keeps your company front and center. It certainly helps branding, which is very important to your company.
Yeah, I agree with Rick. Like, when you go to a company's social media page and they have 3 posts on there from 7 years ago.
Oh, I do the same thing. Yeah,
it says a lot about the company. Like, it's and I think that's, to me, that was all I saw social media for a long time. The bare minimum is if someone clicks your social media link, have some content on there from this week. Yep. I think that's really, really important. If you're doing nothing else with it, if it didn't generate new clients, at least it makes your company look more credible.
Exactly.
So.
Awesome. Okay, one last question to wrap it up. I know we chatted a little bit about this, but thoughts on personal growth in a business. So do you set goals? Do you create a safe environment? Do you actually have a mentor yourself? Thoughts on personal growth in business. What do you think?
I personally, personal growth for me involves always saying yes to opportunities and figuring out how to do it later. That's going to certainly accelerate your personal growth in many areas. But I've always done things I didn't know how to do, and it's been great for me. I'm an older gentleman, and I still feel like I'm 40. So I think that's one of the reasons.
Awesome. I love it.
I agree with work on that. Like, I think personal growth is incredibly important. I try to consume an audiobook a month on like some topic, personal growth. I always find the times I'm not kind of digesting new information and kind of growing personally are the times like that it's most difficult for myself, when I'm kind of intaking new like growth material. So that definitely helps. And I've always been a big believer in mentors. I consistently seek out people with more knowledge than I am. They say it's not good to be the smartest person in the room ever. So I never try to be. I always try to associate with people that are older, wiser, know more, have more experience in different fields. And I have the same attitude with Rick. I mean, I think I've always had this attitude that if one person can do it, I can do it. There's no special powers in this world that, YouTube or a book can't teach me how to do something. So I've never really shied away from that stuff. Like, I have two hands and eyes and stuff. If someone else can do it, there's no reason I can't do it as well. So
that's great. I agree with you, David, and I'm the same. I love to connect and keep the people around me. They say like the top 5 people that you're around the most, you become. And I find that myself, by having, a side hustle and having a whole other outlook on business is really important as well. So keeping those people that are, good in their position around you and learning from others is really, really important for personal growth.
I love that too. Someone told me that once, that you're the average of the 5 people you associate with the most.
Yeah.
And it's such a good thing to think about. So
yeah, it is. Okay, well, we are going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone. That was a really great topic. If you do have any other suggestions for topics coming up, the next time we will meet for Bricks and Balloons will be Thursday, September 2nd from 8:30 to 9. So thank you very, very much for coming on, and we'll see some of you later at the golf meeting.
I love the title, by the way, Bricks and Balloons.
Oh, good.